Hey, good morning. This is Scott with Heritage Farms, Texas. Hey, today we're going to do a review on our 2014 Polaris 570 Sportsman. Here's our little runabout we bought a few years ago. We did buy it brand new. It's a Polaris, once again, 2014 570 Sportsman. This does have the electric power steering. One of the reasons we bought it was to do some spraying around our pecan orchard, also around the fences, and just to kind of use it as pretty much a utility vehicle to check fence and go right around and look at cattle and everything else. So here's what the pros and cons of this thing. For a 570 engine, this thing has a lot of get up and go. Quick revving, pulls throughout all of the ranges, really does an awesome job. Independent suspension. I'm not going to bore you with all the specs and the travel and everything else, but one thing about it is it was a good mid-size four-wheeler and does a lot of things that we like. One thing I did like about this is that it had the lift up front with all kinds of places for storage for miscellaneous tools. Really just kind of came out pretty nice. Has a high-low reverse gear. You can kind of see some of the controls. Got your lights, same readout that most Polarises have. Just really a good all-around runabout. Well, here's some things that I don't like about it. So 2014 model, we had to replace, after about a year and a half, we had to replace the fuel pump. The thing just wouldn't run, had all kinds of issues, so we had to replace that. But here's been the biggest negative on this four-wheeler, is this thing overheats a lot. And so for example, we'll put a 25-gallon spray rig on the back of it and run around and spray fences and stuff like that. And here in Texas, it's just, I don't know if it's too warm. This thing seems to be happy when it's running 30 or 40 miles an hour down the road. It does not like stop and go. Hey, hold on one second. There's Coco, the company dog. When we're spraying these pecans, and you can kind of see the lanes here where we've been spraying Roundup on the lanes, when we're doing stop and go spraying, it seems to want to overheat. And it does have an electric fan on it. You can hear the electric fan kicking on and off, but for whatever reason, that thing does not like stop and go. There's my beautiful wife, CEO and CFO of Heritage Farms. But all in all, I guess mixed emotions on this four-wheeler. If you're just using it to run around and ride trails and it's moving all the time, it's great. And once again, that 570 engine is high revving, tons of torque, very happy with it, but just really had some problems. So one thing I don't like is where they put the battery. They put the battery at the bottom of the frame, and you can see down here, it is very difficult to get to. So if you ever need to replace it, which I had to do once already, it seems like the batteries last about 2 years on this thing. But the thing I don't like is you can't get a battery charger to it. It's really difficult to put a battery tender, or also just to get down there to put a battery charger or to try to jump start it. Very, very challenging. So I don't like that. The other thing is when we first got this four-wheeler, this panel on this side was not there. And this engine got incredibly hot. And finally, Polaris did a recall. And they actually came and they put these plastic shields on there. We had to take it to a dealer to have it done. And that really kind of stopped your feet from actually burning. Sometimes your ankles would touch and it would actually almost burn you. So kudos to Polaris for fixing it, but you would have thought they would have known up front that they had an issue and designed it a little bit better. So once again, ride quality great, motor phenomenal, but it overheats. So the radiation is not good. They need to do some type of improvement on the radiator, something a little bit bigger. And once again, and the overheating is not because the radiator is clogged. I constantly have to wash it out, look at it, and it's never been clogged. It's just a poor design. That's the reality of the situation. So anyway, I don't know. I would think twice. Hindsight, if I had it to do over again and I was going to buy a mid-size four-wheeler, I probably would look at a Honda, actually. Hey, here's one thing that I did that really came in handy, though. Installed a little cup on here, drink holder. Also just a great place to throw a cell phone in. The rack, you know, that's another thing that I'm not a big fan of. Check out, you know, it's kind of a cheap plastic. You can see it's already busted in a few areas. Actually, it's broke pretty much on every corner. I would much rather prefer just a good, nice, solid metal rack that you could easily attach to. So I'm not a fan of that either. But mixed emotions. Hey, do your homework. See what works for you. Jury's still out on this one, but I'd probably do it different if I had my options. Hey, if you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel. You can also check us out at heritagefarmstexas.com, and we're also on Instagram, Heritage Farms Texas. Hey, talk to you later. Thanks.